I brought in 9 contestants. I gave them 3 different maps, and the last person to leave these circles will be crowned winner, and I will give them their very own Lambo. Oh, what do we get? I can't afford a Lambo. They will get 1,000 gems in Brawl Stars. Let the games begin. The rules go like this. When you're outside of the circle, anything goes. It's like the Hunger Games out there. Well, except for no teaming. No teaming. But as soon as you step foot inside that circle, you cannot kill any other player. You can use gadgets, you can use attacks and star players and whatever it takes to get the other player out, but you cannot deal the killing blow. There will be 5 rounds. For every round that you win, you get a point, and whoever has the most points at the very end will get their very own lamb. 1,000 gems.
Round number 1.
Starting with the very first game, we have a wide variety of brawlers that are showing up to play today. From the powerhouse El Primo to the always lovely Pamela, who appears to be bullying Zeke a little here and pushing him back into the grass, a situation that he's not feeling too comfortable with as he frantically checks the grass to his right. They continue their little game of ring around the rosy on the left, and over on the right-hand side, Iron 87 is chasing Frosty, but both are oblivious to the sneaky Gene in the grass. Now, Limon? He finally emerges and a battle erupts. They exchange some shots and the super comes out, which pushes him back into the smoke, but it's not enough to kill him. Gene deals the killing blow, but he dies like 1 second later as Cerulean is there playing cleanup. Now, Agent Merlot is the very first player to jump right into the circle to hunker down. Can we get an F in the chat for Merlot? Yeah, he's done for this round. Once the other players get into the center, they now have to readjust their playing style as they can no longer kill each other. Primo could have easily suplexed some brawlers out, but either he brought the wrong gadget or he just missed his opportunity. I guess we'll never know. Either way, these players are being harassed by the angry Robo in the center, but they seem to just be using the teleporters to get away from it rather than trying to kill it. However, Primo walks onto the jump pad at just the wrong time and he launches himself out of the map, leaving just 4 players left. Both Surge and Gale get launched by a single jump pad. Surge tries to get back in, but a mistimed gadget on the wrong side of the teleporter. That only leaves Pam and Ems left, and this spring trap is working overtime as it launches that thick lady up and out, leaving Cerulean standing alone in the circle and getting the point for round number 1.
Round number 2.
Both Gale and Primo were banned for this round, so we get to see some new brawlers out there, and right away, Jackie finds herself in a tough spot getting pinched. Now, on the other side of the map, Malcolm makes a bold choice, going with Crow, and I would love to say that it pays off, but Buzz makes quick work of him. Yeah, that's the first kill of the round. Now, back to the Fiesta on the top left. Brock joins in by unleashing that rocket fuel on Ems, and in the process, unleashes the angry Robo onto the outside, and it goes straight for him. Cerulean seizes this opportunity to take out Brock, but with his dying breath, he is able to get off a couple shots from a super, and it's just enough to take out Jackie while he goes down. Edgar had a couple of opportunities to leap in here on Ems, but he decides to play it safe and lets Ems walk free. The brawlers finally jump into the center where they just mainly stand around. That is until a new robot spawns and forces some movement. Frank uses that super to try to catch somebody on top of a spring trap, but just misses. Seconds later, Frank gets launched out of the circle, Surge dies on some spikes, and Edgar gets launched into a closed-off trap, but he's able to use his super just in time to get back to the middle. Ems gets launched into the gas and does her best to make it back to the center, where Edgar is getting smacked down by the robot. Ems meets a similar fate, leaving Poco the last one remaining in the circle. After round 2, the scoreboard shows 1 point for Limon and 1 point for Cerulean. I think it's Limon. I don't really know.
Round number 3.
A new map comes out with all of the brawlers already in the center. I thought that this map would lead to faster action, and well, I was wrong. They mainly just stood around, like too scared to even move. Finally, though, Jackie gets the party started by pulling a bunch of players to him, trying to launch them onto the spring traps, but they're all able to escape just barely in time. Spike was not quite as lucky as Primo just yeets him out of the circle, and then a second later, and another suplex sends Nita out of the circle as well. Christic, however, does not want to leave the circle and comes back in, where the Primos reinforce the rules. But then Iron 87 gets overtaken by greed. Frosty takes the opportunity and sends him out of the circle. Iron, was that one cube worth it? Was it? Then, in a big brain play, Jackie moves across the portals and then supers 3 people to her, catching 2 of them perfectly and teleporting them outside. While that was a great play, she now finds herself caught in the middle of 2 angry luchadors, and when she moves just a bit too close, she gets sent out as well. Frosty is feeling bold, so he goes for Merlot, but in turn, he gets launched out, leaving just 2 brawlers left. Malcolm tries to make a play, but when it doesn't pay off, they start plotting their next move, contemplating the angles, and oh yeah, he just launched himself out. Well, that works too. Malcolm wins this round.
Round number 4.
The next round shows off the smallest map, and it doesn't take long for the bodies to start flying. Ems causes chaos right from the get-go and launches multiple people out. Dynamite is able to stun a few people, but carelessly steps on a jump pad and gets sent out into oblivion. Gene makes a nice pushback on Surge and then instantly gets the favor returned by Ems. Overcome with pride, Frosty pays too much attention to sending an emote and not enough to where he's standing. With 2 brawlers left, Shelly peppers Jackie with some shots. This gives Jackie just enough for her super, which she uses to pull Shelly in right before slingshotting her out of the circle and giving Iron 87 his first win. Going into the final game, the scoreboard has 4 people that have 1 point each. That means if any of these 4 players who already have a point win, then the game will be over. But if a new person wins, we will be going to a sudden death, winner-take-all final game.
Round number 5.
Now, both Primo and Gale were banned by the players, so once again, we see a variety of brawlers. Early on, we see a good bit of action as Tara hunts down BB and takes her off the map, and therefore ending Brawler Christic's hope of making it on to the final round. On the other side of the map, Frosty tries to take out Malcolm, but when he doesn't succeed, he has to retreat, which pushes him up towards 2 other players. He then finds himself the meat in this very unfortunate brawler sandwich. At this point, the players hop into the center, and it doesn't take long for the action to get underway. Shelly uses her super to try to launch Tara out. However, she has just enough time to get off the jump pad and onto the teleporter. This takes her to the top of the circle where she finds Agent Merlot just standing there waiting, so she supers him, try to get him onto that pad and launch him out, but just barely misses. Now, Shelly wanted to see what the action was. She found a spring trap instead. Now 4 players remained, and after teleporting to the other side, a misstep causes Merlot to head outside the circle. With the gas closing in, Tara uses the gadget. Archie dies to the spikes, and then Cerulean gets beat down by the bot, leaving Zeke as the winner. Whoa, hold up, wait a minute. Upon reviewing the footage, it turns out that Tara's shadows actually dealt the final blow to Archie, not Spikes. Since I didn't notice this until I was reviewing the footage the next day, I contacted Archie and sent him $20 as a consolation prize since he didn't get a chance to compete in the very final game, which we don't know if he would have beaten Cerulean or not, but he would have had a chance at least there at the end, so a little consolation prize for Archie. We have 5 players with 1 point, so it all comes down to this. A 5-way death match. Winner takes all. The last person to leave this circle will get their very own Lambo. 1,000 gems is just as good as a Lambo. Whatever.
Final game.
For this final game, I let each player competing in the last round ban 1 brawler. Collectively, they chose to ban Primo Gale, Frank, Tara, and Jackie. Now, starting this match, there are 2 engagements to watch. First off, we have Cerulean, who is just gathering up gems like crazy. He's got OJ's disease. And secondly, we have a battle between Malcolm and Iron 87. These 2 were going at it the entire time. A couple really close calls for both. Poco came close to dying right here and then turned the tides, and he almost took out Mortis with that screeching solo, but Mort just got a tiny sliver of health back just in the nick of time. Back to Cerulean though. He parlayed that added strength that he got from the power cubes to take out not only Zeke, but shortly after that, Limon as well. So with 2 players down, 3 remained, and he was able to join Malcolm and Iron in the center. It now comes down to this. 3 players remain. None of them are wanting to deal with the robot, and they're doing everything they can to avoid it. Cerulean comes through the portal in pretty darn low health and tried to regain some by using his super. He doubles down and uses his gadget to shove Malcolm onto a jump pad and towards the outside of the circle, where he dies midair to the gas. 2 players left, and Iron is desperately trying to get that angry robot away from him, but Cerulean is staying just on the other side, avoiding the aggro. Unable to get that robot off him, and with one final last punch, Cerulean is the only one left, standing inside the circle, and wins the competition. Cerulean, you were able to fight all day long and win a couple of rounds, just enough to make it to where you were the last one standing in the circle, and you, sir, win not a Lambo, because who needs that? You win 1,000 gems in Brawl Stars. Tell the world in 4 seconds how you feel.
Thank you, Lex. Thanks, everyone, for playing.
All right, so that's it.